1 minute. 1 minute. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to our Halloween special. This evening is going to be very, very special for you guys. As always, we like to bring you enough value and try to bring you something a little bit different. But before I go into it, we are streaming across all the platforms that we usually stream on: Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Periscope, and Twitch, as well as over on the Safety FM side, safetyfm.com, safetyfm.live, and the Safety FM app. So with that being said, let's jump right into it. I hope everybody's having a wonderful evening. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. We greatly appreciate each and every one of you. And of course, the internet would love to do what it does best and just go ahead and go. Now we can see. Now we're in here. Okay, good deal. So, without further ado, let me introduce our guests that we have. I have Caitlin Frank and Bob Marshall from EMOD, the EMOD squad. So we are definitely going to be having a good conversation. How you doing, Caitlin? How you doing, Bob?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Let me rearrange our configuration because I made us a little nice overlay to go over. That way everybody knows who you are. So, yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourselves, and see what is going on in your guys' world. We want to know.
For sure. I'll let Caitlin go first.
All right, I'm Caitlin Frank. I am a superintendent by day, and I'm also a co-founder at EMOD Safety.
Awesome. I'm Bobby Marshall, or Bob Marshall. Also a project manager by day. Work with Caitlin over in the Bay Area for a construction company, and then also a work at EMOD by night as well.
Nice. So with that being said, now let's get into the nitty gritty. So superintendent, Caitlin, how is that working out? How is it you being, and I say this and don't take it the wrong way, but you don't find very many women superintendents. How did you get into that role? How did you end up transitioning into becoming a superintendent?
It's funny. I always knew I wanted to be in the industry, and I wasn't actually sure how I wanted to get into the industry. I actually started out with an architectural degree, but my dad owned a GC in Boston, and I just kind of followed in his footsteps. Being in the field made sense to me, and when I stepped foot on a job site, I just knew that's where I belonged. I've had this crazy passion for solving problems and, working with people to collaborate, and I found that, for me at least, the best place to do that was in the field. You're right, there are not very many women in the field, and I'm hoping in the next 5, 10, 15 years, we see that number increase. But I also think there aren't many women out there in the field, and there's not someone to look up to try to chase that dream. And so if you don't have someone who you want to be like, you don't inspire to be, how do you even put yourself out there? And so I've talked to a lot of young women who, they want to be in the industry, they want to be in the field, they just don't know how to get there. And people think being a superintendent is swinging a hammer, moving ladders around, and there's just so much more to it these days. It has a lot to do with collaboration, and there's so much technology out there. So, utilizing what we can as a young female superintendent and, changing the industry.
Nice. And I like the fact that you say that you don't see a lot out there in the trades at all, in the construction industry, but it's slowly starting to transition to seeing more women come through the ranks and actual, in the trades, not just on the safety side, not just on the project management side, but actually through the trades. And it's very good because, again, I have 4 daughters, so I am teaching them to be strong. I want them to go out there and say, hey, I can do anything that a man can do, if not better. Right. Yeah.
And I was lucky. I had that upbringing, and, I would never thought that I couldn't do it. And so I think that's why I just put myself out there and I just did it. Not to say that I didn't struggle and that there wasn't pushback along the way, but you also have to find companies that want to support you and they want to see you grow, that, they see the potential in you. And if you can find companies like that, I work for Dome Construct right now. They've given me every opportunity to grow. Having companies like that back you and support you, that's going to change the industry.
Nice. Shout out Dome Construction. All right, now over to you, Mr. Bob. How did you get into the construction field? Why did you choose project management? What led you down that path?
Wow. Probably not as interesting a story as Caitlin. Probably an easier road, but I went to school for civil engineering. I always knew I wanted to build something, and I wasn't really sure what that meant. So I just kind of went into civil engineering. I'm not sure if there's any civil engineering engineers out there, but once I started engineering, I was like, this is not for me. I actually need to be in the field watching things get built, more hands-on. But I didn't have that field knowledge, so that's why I chose project management. Kind of just went through the field. So I actually started with Dome as an intern, working in the field, processing safety documentation with the superintendent, working my way up to project engineer, and now a project manager. So just kind of working my way up through the company. Just kind of knew this was my passion. I love building stuff. And we build pretty cool things at Dome. So it's been a great experience.
Nice. So you touched on a good topic and something that I wanted to make sure everybody understood. So you were in charge of and got accustomed to filling out safety paperwork with the superintendent, correct?
Right.
How is that as a job task of a new, and I'm asking this question because, again, a lot of new project engineers, a lot of new project managers, a lot of new superintendents, even our new safety professionals. How did you tackle that task, and what advice would you give to somebody that is given that task on safety paperwork?
It's brutal. I remember when I was an intern, that was probably 6-7 years ago. I remember I was right when the Apple started coming out with tracking your steps. And I think I'd be at 10,000 steps by 7 o'clock in the morning, just because it's so much back and forth with paperwork, finding people, trying to organize it. And then at the end of the day, you have all this paperwork and you're trying to put it in binders, seeing where it goes. Oh my God, I'm missing something, go back and forth. So it's just brutal. And I think the worst part is when you need to find something, right? That day, it's pretty good. You file everything away. But 2 weeks later, when you're like, hey, I need to find this pre-task plan or this safety document, that you're like, I have no idea where this is. There's no way I can find this. Which kind of segues with me and Caitlin started. I mean, I think technology is a solution. I think construction has always been an archaic industry. And we've kind of all seen technology come into construction, more in project management. We have BIM, we have scheduling, but we've kind of forgot about safety. So I think technology is definitely the solution when it comes to, the next steps on processing safety documentation.
Nice. And what about you, Caitlin? You being a superintendent and coming, and like you said, you came up through the ranks. So what advice would you give to a new superintendent that has to dabble and be heavily involved in all the paperwork, the documentation, the drawings, the plans, and like Bob said, being involved in all the other aspects, the scheduling, the BIMs, and what advice would you give to a young professional?
I'd say there's so many pieces of information out there, and they're all so important. Finding what works best for you, whether it be an application, maybe you want to go that paper process route and you want to have a full set of drawings, but finding what works for you and eliminating waste. We're very dedicated to lean construction and streamlining, finding out where that waste is. Figure out what works for you and go with it. I just can't. There's so much wasted time, and there's so much construction. We don't have enough time. Our schedules and our budgets are so minimal now that we need to streamline everything. And it's like, what's the most important piece of this? We need to focus on that.
Nice.
Yeah, and I also think
go ahead,
on that buy-in as well. Whatever process you have to make sure your whole team, subcontractors, general contractors, client, is all on the same page for whatever process you choose. Because when it comes to this documentation, one missing link, it all goes out the window.
So how do you develop the next layer of safety, or the next layer of superintendents, the next layer of project engineers and project management? How do you get, and like you said about the buy-in, but not only the buy-in, but actually make them, and how do I put this? Instill in them the safety culture and the culture that you want them to have, and the mindset that you want them to have. How do you do it?
It's funny. I've worked with a couple field engineers, assistant superintendents that are working their way up. So my dad owned a construction company in Boston. I had this heart-to-heart with an electrician a couple of years ago. He didn't want to fill out his safety paperwork. I had worked with him for the past 5 years. I knew him very well. He was about to retire. He said he didn't want to fill out this paperwork. It's waste of time. And I reminded him, I am not doing this for him. I'm not doing it for me. I'm not doing it for this company. I'm doing it for his daughters that were my age at the time, my age and my sister's age. And that I wanted him to go home safe because I wanted my father to go home safe every day. And, telling those little stories about why you're doing something safely and why safety is important, I think that's how we instill safety in people. Reminding them that it's not just about paperwork. It's about the actual process. And how do we send people home safer? We want to send them home a little bit. Let's send them home tired and dirty, but let's send them home in one piece.
Yeah,
I want to make that phone call.
Yeah, there's a stat, and don't fact check me on this one, but this is when we were trying to transition our safety culture with Dome. Our CEO said more people die in the construction industry than the military. And that's pretty insane when you think about that. I mean, you think of wars, you think of everything the military does, and the fact that our industry that we're in kills more people on the job than that. That hits home. And it definitely hit home with Dome. Just knowing that we could be in that position. So what Kaylin said is getting that why down, understanding what your why is, your company's why, and making sure that the people you're working with understand that why.
Now, what if my why isn't the same as your why? Again, you're a project manager, and your why is to complete a project with a minimal budget, right? Save on the dollar, finish early. While me being a safety professional, my why is to make sure everybody goes home safe, is to, minimize risk, looking for the new way to do and give safety training. Caitlin, in your superintendent role, you're in charge of all the trades. Your why is to make sure all your subcontractors come in and tell you exactly what the hell they're doing. How many new guys are you going to bring on site? Keeping the manpower and making sure those hours are allotted. So how do we instill that generic, big, over 10,000 foot view why?
It's funny. One thing we talk a lot about is when we do, project kickoffs, we talk about project success and what that looks like. And the first go around, everyone talks about schedule and budget. And then typically you get to the superintendent who talks about if everyone goes home safe, to me, that's a successful project. And I think that's how we start. We start figuring out, what is a successful project, and we start breaking down those barriers that, yes, of course, schedule and budget are important, but we talk about, our company culture and our core values. If we can start talking about that as an industry, you don't hear people talking about that in the construction industry. That's something we need to change. And it's a mindset, and it's an old school industry that is coming but does not like change. They are coming around to it, but it's going to take some time.
Definitely. And like Bob said, construction, again, the archaic old school way of doing things, because we, again, the trades, you have a certain set of pride in being a carpenter, being a mason, being a millwright, being a steel iron worker, those types of things. But again, like you said, Caitlin, it's changing. And now it just, some of the big players that are out there, your Domes, your Turners, the Gilbanes, that, are instilling these cultures. And it's not just at one site, it's across all their sites. And then, some have a global footprint. So how do you, make somebody resonate with and I like what you said, your core values, how do, some core values aren't realistic in a sense, and they're just for show and fluff. But, your core values, how do you get your front line to believe in those core values?
It's funny. One of the reasons that we ended up creating eMod was, to get everyone involved in safety, because so often you see, from the foreman level up, they're involved in the conversations. They know what's going on in the project, but it is not that often that you have your apprentices, your journeymen, your laborers involved in what they're doing and why. And so starting to have those conversations early on in the project, understand why we're asking them to do what they're doing, and not just because I said so. Showing them what our core values are. One of Dome's core values, seek to understand, do it right. These are very simple core values that we want people to go out. And our third core value is, value your people. And so we put a lot of effort into valuing our people, and that's our team. And our team is not just internal, it's external as well. And if we can get people to understand that we're not just in it for Dome, we're in it for everyone, and that we want everyone to succeed, I think that's how, as an industry, we really start to change.
Yeah, it's hard because, like what Caitlin mentioned, is, Dome's core values could be aligned throughout every employee, but now we're working with a bunch of trade partners, and those core values might not align with Dome's core values. So it's, with eMod, the level of transparency across the board. Now everyone can see safety, not just Dome. We've also started a monthly Safety Hero Award, where we're not recognizing people for meeting a scheduled date. We're recognizing someone for catching something out in the field that protected someone. And we're broadcasting that out to everyone. And I think just the little fact that now we have profiles for everyone on the job site, not just the supers, like Caitlin said, letting people know that, hey, you actually have an account on this thing. You actually matter. We built this to protect you, I think is going to change the culture. And I think it's going to have people align with values more often, or more than they did with just a kind of a hidden paper process.
Right. No, yeah, I agree. And we're going to hit up some of the comments in the chats that have been coming in. Hey, Uncle Al, need more women in the field. I agree. That definitely is. He also asked, what certifications do you need to be a project manager?
I think it depends on the company. I know Dome, you just need to go to school, 4-year university. But I know a lot of people have worked their way up through the field and been a project manager. So I think it totally depends on the company.
Right.
I like to say common sense. I feel like if you have common sense, you can be a project manager.
Yeah, no, definitely. Jeremiah Johnson said, everyone and everything has to be a PAL, purpose, agenda, and a limit. Never enough time to get things done. And that is so true, especially on a construction site. Shane Oliver, my man Shane, nearly 50 years since OSHA was formed. Why are we still having to sell safety to companies and individuals in management?
Oh,
Yeah.
LinkedIn user, this is I think this is Tiffany. Hey, popping in for a little bit, check out the cast. How you doing, Tiffany? I like that, Bob. We built this to protect you. Yes, that is great. And I hope this hey friend is still Tiffany. If not, let me know. And again, LinkedIn. They give me the name sometimes they don't. Love the pal too. That was before I hopped in. Love that, Jeremiah. And again, thank you everybody that's in the chat, everybody that's joining us. Kes Stevens. So, but no, and it takes a lot to unify a team, especially when you have somebody that's new, somebody that's a new safety pro introducing themselves into the construction project, a new project manager, a new PE, a new superintendent, somebody that maybe hasn't had enough experience, 20-year tenure as a superintendent or a foreman. So with how do you transition somebody that's new to your team and make them feel part of the team?
I feel like you just take them under your wing. I've been really lucky. I've worked with senior superintendents who have just taken me under their wing and just wanted to show me their way. But I also think, you trust people, you trust them, you show that you instill in them, and you put them out there and you let them go and you let them fail a little bit, and then you bring them back in and you teach them, and then you become there's a bond there. I think you need to give people the opportunity to grow. Yeah.
What about you, Bob?
Yeah, I think, my biggest thing is not about the successes, about the failures and how you react to their failures. So someone new is always going to make mistakes. Someone old is going to always make mistakes, but it's how you react to them, making those mistakes is always how you make them feel part of the team and making them feel comfortable. Dome's really good at we're a close-knit family, Dome, so it's always been easy, but just kind of taking them under your wing and letting them fail and not getting upset.
I like it because again, that you learn, and if you fail, it's okay, and they have to understand. People have to understand, and everybody that's listening, out on the radio waves, here on all the live stream, you can fail as long as you are failing forward and learning from those failures, and that way, one, it doesn't happen again, and two, you learn something, and then you grow. You become better at what you do, at your craft, at your trade. Again, I was not always and I'm still not a perfect safety pro. I still fail, but I learn from my failures, and and it's crazy to say that, a safety guy failing, right? We're not supposed to fail, but sometimes, shit happens. So failing forward. And I like the fact that you said you embrace those failures and mentor, take them under your wing, to then let them grow and become their own person, and eventually end up taking, in a sense, your position, right? You want them to be good enough to take your position.
Right.
Yeah.
So that way, because you're moving up, and hey, that's just what it is. Really good advice. Thank you, Al. Tiffany, I love that. Caitlin, letting people fail can help with growth and learning in the end. Yes, that is true. So tell us a little bit more about eMod. What is it? And again, it's been coming up, through my airwaves and my feed. That's where, I met you guys at. So what is eMod? How does it help the world?
You want to go for it, Bobby?
Yeah, I'll take a stab at it right now. So eMod is a full construction safety platform. It's all web-based, cloud-based software. So we tackle everything from, so I know nomenclature changes throughout the construction companies, but we tackle everything between, the pre-mobilization safety documents through the daily safety documents. We do toolbox talks. We do certificates and trainings. Basically takes you from the beginning of the job all the way through the end, tracks all your safety documentation. And the cool thing about it is we're all homegrown. So we are all construction professionals that built this. We're all, like, our slogan right now is built for the field, by the field. So we were all field personnel building this tool for other field personnel. And it definitely shows.
It's awesome.
That's the first time I got a round of applause in a long time. So thank you for that one.
Yeah, hold on, Bob. Hold on. Here's another one. That's awesome.
No, but it definitely shows. Construction is a weird industry. It's very cliquey. We have very needy people that are grumpy and don't like technology. And when we try to shove an app building company's product in the hands of construction professionals, it doesn't work very well. So we designed this tool to work for construction personnel and be easy.
Yeah, we tested it out with, thick fingers, old school superintendents, young tech savvy superintendents, and everyone in between. Because we really wanted to make sure, we didn't want to be a tech company that built a safety app. We wanted to be construction people that knew, we knew what a superintendent was up against in the morning. We know that 5 to 7 a.m. is the most critical time on a job site. And, putting anything that's going to put roadblocks in their morning is just, they're going to throw it to the side.
Yeah. No, and that's awesome. And again, I give you guys a round of applause again. Just because you made something for the field by you guys actually being in the field. So know the day in and out of what goes on a project, what a superintendent will go looking for, what a project manager needs to go looking for. Now, does it encompass RFIs and those types of things as well?
So we made it strictly as a safety platform. We know safety. There are Procore, PlanGrid, Autodesk. They do a very good job at the project management side. But all the softwares out there that we've looked at, we didn't plan to create an app. That wasn't the goal. Our goal was to go out and to find a solution, and our CEO tasked us with that. And we looked, and there was nothing that did everything that we needed it to. Everything seemed to be very reactive or an audit-based system.
Mm-hmm.
And all these other apps, they stopped at the foreman level. No one knew that, the guy sweeping in the corner has a scissor lift certification, or that, he's OSHA 30 certified. We know that now. We know how many hours of silica he's been exposed, he or she. We try to put everything in one spot because app fatigue is real. And it's not something you hear from a typical superintendent, app fatigue, but bouncing around from PlanGrid to Procore to BIM 360 to look at a 3D model, to go over iAuditor and predict, where do you forget where things are saved? Are they in your email or they're in Box? Trying to make one solution so that the buttons are simple, it's very simple to find things, and then it all ties back to a dashboard where our CEO and our C-level management can look at it.
Nice. Okay. And that was my next question. So once all this data is gathered at one job site, does it get correlated, and like you said, to the C-suite? But then could somebody at another job site say, hey, I need X form, or I need this toolbox talk? Is it can they pull that from the platform?
Yeah. So right now, the way that works, just for Toolbox Talks, for example, is each company builds their own Toolbox Talk library. So it'd be someone like you, Pedro, you would build one for your company, and then anyone throughout your company can use that library and log their Toolbox Talks. And then we've also built out the other forms for you. So the JHAs, the pre-task plans, incident reports, all built out. So it's something that you just pull out, you fill it out, and then you put it back into the system, and it's all tracked there.
Nice. And a lot of it's,
I can use my phone, correct?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All you need.
Nice. Now, what about those companies that love to generate binders and have a bunch of binders inside the office trailer? And does it take that away?
Mm-hmm. You don't need it anymore. And it's funny because our senior superintendents, they don't look for their binders anymore. Every morning, whether you call it a JHA, JSA, PTP, that document gets submitted by all of our trade partners. The superintendent gets a text message saying, Southland Industries has submitted their pre-task plan. It's ready for your review. There's no more running around the job site trying to find your foreman. You can review it right on your phone. And for me, that's how a lot of this started. Was I had 3 job sites, within a couple blocks of each other in downtown San Francisco. And we try to review our pre-task plans before we start work. It couldn't be in 3 places at once. It was impossible for me to actually do my job. And so by creating eMod, I'm currently in Boston. I'm 3,000 miles away from my job site, but I can tell what's going on my job site without even being there.
Look at that, and see, and that right there, the biggest and most best is ease of use. I can do stuff on my phone, which readily accessible. Again, a lot of job sites you use the iPad.
Yeah.
And is it more towards iOS? Is it towards Android? Because some companies like to use one over the other.
We are iOS right now.
Yeah, iOS and web, so you can log into the website.
And I had to get it just because I'm an iPhone user. I love Apple. I love and not being sponsored by Apple, but I love them. I was believe it or not, an Android user for a very, very long time. And then my wife ended up telling me, hey, you should change so that way we can all, AirDrop and do all this other stuff. And I ended up changing and became a fan of Apple. Wouldn't leave home without it. I can sync up everything, and it makes it easy. So Tiffany, hey, no longer in stealth mode. It was the off LinkedIn settings, in case anyone else needs to know. Makes sense that StreamYard is used by Live. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for that. That's a golden nugget right here on our live streams. Anybody that comes in the live stream and it says LinkedIn user and you've been like that, go in your settings, turn off the stealth mode so that way we can tell who you are, because I like seeing who I'm talking to. Shane Oliver said paper is a nuisance at the end of the job for anyone. And again, so it being cloud-based and a lot of this documentation that we have to have, some of it we have to keep for 5 years, some of it we have to keep for 20 years. Having your guys's platform, how long is it stored? At the end of a job, do we pull everything down, print everything out, or is it completely there once we have the platform?
It's there and it's archived and it's there for as long as you need it.
Gotcha. Nice. Now, and we won't get into price, but when somebody comes and asks, hey, eMod, I'm looking at getting your platform, what does the typical conversation start off with? How does it end up, going about, how do you tailor it to their needs? Those types of things, without giving any of your clients' information yet.
Yeah, I think it's actually a pretty easy transition. I think it's because we're also construction professionals. I think that tailors into the rollout of this product, because we know how your superintendents are going to react when we say we have a new safety app coming out. It's going to be a lot of moans and groans for sure.
Oh shit.
Yeah, exactly. And we know that. So we know the rollout. We went through the pains of our rollout of this. And so it's just a slow rollout. We do a couple jobs at a time. We work our way through it. And we just set goals. I think that's the biggest thing. We're rolling out right now with the company. We're doing our rollout. And the biggest thing that we're working with that client on is their why. As we bring it back to the beginning of this conversation, is to roll this out, you need to know what your why is, so you can tell your superintendents and your PMs and PEs what the why is and why we're doing this. And then I think, just because you mentioned cost, the cost is pretty simple. It's when you use it, you pay for it. When you don't pay for it. So again, tailored to construction. When you're making money, we'll charge you for it. When you're not making money, we're not going to charge you for it. So it's a pretty simple rollout in that sense.
Nice. Now, how long does it take from somebody, saying, hey, I need you guys' service, your platform, I want to make it easier on my construction sites, to implementation and it being me being able to walk on site and say, hey, I can use this.
We can get you signed up right now and you can use it tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I mean, really,
I like, hold on. Y'all getting all kinds of round of applause today. That is definitely, and again, rolling out and for big companies that have lots of multiple sites, do y'all do, and again, COVID has put a damper on actually meeting in person. Do y'all have like a training module on how to set up everything? Do you have certain admin, that can go in and turn on users, turn off users, that type of stuff?
Yeah, so typically it is like a 3-week process. The first week is an admin training where we're training those admins. And the next 2 weeks is more of the construction personnel training where we're training them how to use the tool, how to sign in. But by that 3rd week, they're logged in and using it, the full tool. And so it's pretty quick. I mean, it can be instant if we really want it. But it is about a 3 to 4 week process. Yeah, it's pretty simple. There, like we said, construction is very simple when you think about it. And so that we've made the tool so simple that it's just you log in, you know pretty much what to do when you log in.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So we spend a lot of time with the general contractors, getting them up to speed, making sure that they understand the full functionality and know what EMOD can do. But then I really do mean it. We could get you signed up tonight. You could use it tomorrow morning, because a lot of our subcontractors, they sign up on the job site and they use it right there in that day.
Nice.
So we ingrain the process and the why and all the features with the general contractors, but the day-to-day use is a very quick learn.
Now say, I'm a GC. I have this one big site, but I have 4 or 5 subs, right? I'm using it as a GC, but I would like them to also use it so that way that information gets correlated back to me, and that way I can save it for all my subs. Is that possible? My question is, do they have to sign up for the service as well? Or is there like a blanket for a GC to be able to let them use the app while they're on site?
Yeah, so the beauty about this is everyone on the job site has an account. So whether you're a subcontractor or a GC, we have 2 different sign-up methods. Either the general contractor can absorb the cost from the subs, or we could choose to have the subs also set up the accounts and pay. So we make it pretty easy to make sure that everyone is on the job site, has an account and has a company set up.
And so anyone on the job site, they can log in and they can see what the
Kaylin warned me that this might happen. She said she had spotty internet.
It's okay. It's okay. It happens from time to time. Y'all seen me in the beginning. It happened. Yeah. Hit our technology is awesome. Thank you, Al.
But I think what she was saying, the beauty is someone can come into the job site, no company exists, their user account doesn't exist, and within 15 minutes they have a company, they have a user account, and they're filling out pre-task plans to get started for the day.
Nice. And that really it plays a big part, because being able to have those quick and easy accessible app to everything that you need, it goes a long way on a construction site. Shout out Tiffany Squad. She said #golden nugget. Love it. Shane Oliver said, I'd like a demo, please. So for somebody that wants a demo, do you guys have or offer a demo version, like a 3-day demo version of, what the app does, or how does that work out?
Yeah, we don't have a set demo period. It's more just case by case, kind of see what you think you need, how long you think you need to use it before making a decision. But we could definitely link up after this and set something up and set some demos up for sure.
Y'all hear that, people? Anybody in the chat that, if somebody that might want a demo, anybody that's listening on the radio station, across all these platforms, if you think you might need it, if you know somebody that might need it, hey, shout out to Bob Marshall, Caitlin Frank. So that way y'all can get set up on getting those demos. Pedro, you have a good conversation going tonight. Thank you, sir. Greatly appreciated. That's what we're here for. We try to get that. Oh, okay. There we go. Hey, Caitlin, you're back. It's okay. It happens.
My internet's been hanging out with yours.
It's okay. Yeah, exactly. Oh man, I'm telling you, it happens to the best of us. As you can tell, you're back, and now my internet's starting to act up on me. It's okay. See, I'm frozen right there, but y'all can still hear me, and I can still hear y'all. So we keep it moving. We keep going.
Perfect.
So, and now, Come on, don't do this. Don't do this. Trying to get the comments on there. Of course. It's coming. It's coming. Okay, there we go. Shane Oliver said emod.com or find Bob Marshall.
So either way, you could email us, or it's emodsafety.com. And we actually have a link right there that you could request a demo.
Bam. Timothy Conway, emodsafety.com. There you go. And again, it definitely is something interesting, and we will be I know me personally from a field safety manager position, the ease of use and not generating so much paperwork, and it streamlining the process again, because we're not trying to reinvent the wheel, right? We know we have to document all the JSAs. We know we have to document training. We know we have to document, inspections on your equipment, incident reporting when something happens. So why not streamline the process, save the trees, save your printer ink for, stuff that really matters, and have a streamlined process. I love it. Hey, always does, and Caitlin's back. Yay. Good. Everybody wanted to see you, Caitlin. It sounds so cool. I agree with Robert that technology is cool. Yes. Thanks, Tiffany, for the comment. Technology is awesome. We get to interact with everybody that's on here. Let's see. You have so much fun with the technological stuff. You always handle it with grace and make it funny. We have to. You can't cry over spilled milk. You can't. Again, the internet sometimes likes to play nice, and sometimes it likes to say you're not fixing to do shit today. That's just what it is. I remember one live stream where I was perfectly fine, and then it just completely crapped out. Totally. I couldn't get back.
Did you speak too soon?
I know he did. He jinxed himself.
Well, Bobby, now you're the host of the show, so take it away. Oh, I almost gave away your job, Pedro.
Say again?
I almost gave away your job. I told Bobby if you didn't come back, he was the host of the show.
Hey, it's okay. If you guys want to come on, and those that know me, if you want to come take over the X Factor safety for a live stream, you want to take over the fireside chat, by all means, let me know. I can take a break. I can relax. But I enjoy having these conversations. I like
You do a great job.
Yeah. Let's see. Tiffany, I will definitely share with the people. Thank you. Have a great evening. And I'll catch up with the rest on the replay. Okay, Tiff, good seeing you. Greatly appreciate you being in the chat. And as always, squad. So, again, thank you both for being here, giving us a little bit of your time and kind of tailoring it back to safety. So, Caitlin, being a superintendent, what is one of your worst experiences with the safety professional?
Oof.
You don't have to say names.
No.
But if they're listening, if they're watching, then
I was going to say they might be listening right now.
It's okay. They'll know. Wink, wink.
My worst experience with a safety professional? I think would be, and it's actually not my worst experience. It's just, a story that I've heard from, the industry. Someone turning a blind eye when they see something, not wanting to put people on the spot and call them out. There's that mindset in the industry. I've been doing it this way for 30 years. We talk a lot about luck and when is your luck going to run out? And that mindset, I've been doing this longer than you've been alive, and it's just one more time. Well, that one more time is going to cause an incident and an accident. And so when I've seen people, turn a blind eye to something, they're like, it's just the top rung of the ladder. It's like, well, that's what the number one cause of injuries and deaths are in construction. We can't turn a blind eye to that, because if they think it's okay for once, they're going to continue to do it. So, you know, it's like setting those standards and making sure that, you know, we follow through.
Nice. What about you, Bob? Being a project manager, what's the worst encounter? What's the worst thing that you've had to deal with from a safety professional?
I think mine is just the biggest thing is, when you don't provide solution, a lot of times with safety, I think safety gets a bad rap because you feel like you're getting reprimanded and you don't really have a path forward. So as a project manager, if you have a crane pick going and the crane pick's not right, the plan, we stop the crane pick, that just equals money. So my biggest thing is providing solution. You need to stop something, right? Something's unsafe. There's no reason. I mean, you absolutely need to stop it, but stop it and come up with a solution. I think that's my number one thing always with dealing with safety professionals or anyone in the field that stops work. Nice.
Yeah. And again, I've had my fair share of project managers that were great. I've also had my fair share of project managers that were crap. Same thing with superintendents. I tried to, I tried to emulate the good ones, but I learned from the bad ones as well, because they teach you what not to do, right, when you're out there on site. But project managers, superintendents, definitely, I can say, have mentored me to become the well-rounded safety professional that I am right now. Shout out to you know who you are if you're watching this. Exactly. I've already told you before. But it's great. And again, that cohesiveness of a project manager, a superintendent, the safety professional, the project engineer on a construction site, that's your core group. We're not worried about the C-suite, the VPs that come down from time to time. We're worried about the boots on the ground personnel that are there in the trenches with the guys and gals out on the construction site. So
yeah, it goes back to what Kaylin said: define success for the job site, schedule, safety, and money. All those three succeed, you have a successful project. So
nice. Shane Albert said, I'll send you a connection request. We'll get with you tomorrow.
awesome.
I said, thanks for the good knowledge every time. We love this, doing this. The truth always comes out. Just remember that. Yes, it does. If you're trying to hide something, it will. Timothy, can EMOD highlight positive safety efforts for people who go above and beyond? It is important to share the wins and not just the safety incidents.
You want to take that one? You want me to?
Maybe Tim didn't. We mentioned earlier that we have we just launched this new program. We're 3 months in now, called the Safety Hero. So we reach out to all our EMOD users. You could recommend someone for the Safety Hero. You actually don't even need to be a EMOD user. So anyone listening right now, if you go to our website, you can nominate someone to be their Safety Hero. That person wins $400 gift card to Amazon. And if you select that person, you win $100 to Amazon. So we're definitely upping the stakes to make sure that people are recognized for their safety out in the field.
Yeah,
Right.
The other thing we do, so everyone does safety audits. You do your weekly walks, your daily walks, whatever it may be. We really focus in on not just finding non-compliant and compliant items. We also give out safety recognitions in the field. That way, you're giving people kudos. You're recognizing them just on a daily basis for going above and beyond. I feel like so often we are just, highlighting the negative. You need to clean the hallway, your housekeeping, your debris, put the cap on the rebar, whatever it may be. What about the guy who goes above and beyond to make sure that his tools are put away every day and that the cords are wrapped up? We're not giving them any kudos. So we try to recognize people as well.
Yeah, definitely. And again, you don't always have to, you find the bad stuff, the hazards, you identify them. Those are bad. You talk about them, you fix them, move on. Let's, focus on what are we winning at today. And me as a safety professional and getting that culture to say, okay, yes, we know there's hazards out there. Let's correct them and let's focus on what you're winning. That was a good pick. That, your job site looks good. I come inspect your job box. Guess what? You have everything tagged and labeled and, everything is up to par. Those things go a long way. And they don't think that, hey, here comes the safety guy. Let's, act like we're being safe it actually, you know, transitions into we're going to be safe because we know Pedro's looking out for our best interests. You know, he's going to come around. We know he's going to come around. Let's make sure everything is, you know, up to snuff for our well-being, not just because the safety guy's coming.
Yeah, we've realized the power of thank you on a job site goes much further than anyone realizes.
Yes, it does. Thank you and great job. You know, you know, in the morning time, you know, at the toolbox talk after the stretch and flex, you know, you talk about what you want to talk about throughout the day. What happened the day before? What were our lessons learned? What are we watching out for? Is there inclement weather? You know, et cetera, X, Y, and Z. But then after that, I greatly appreciate all the efforts that you were making today, that you've been making the rest of the week. You know, the beginning of the week. Let's finish out strong. Let's finish this week before we get to the weekend. Trying to keep their spirits up, keep their morale up. But again, thanking them for all their efforts. It goes a long way.
Yes,
Definitely.
Shane Oliver said, Caitlin, yes, workers love gifts. And as a safety pro, I love catching people going above and beyond. Amen, Shane. Greatly appreciate that. It definitely goes a long way when you see somebody doing the right thing for the right reason, even when nobody's watching, right?
Yeah.
That's just, it's great because you know that you can go into the office, you can go on another site, and everything's going to be okay while you're not there. So with that being said, let everybody know where they can reach you guys at. We're hitting, you know, almost that hour mark. We got about 5 minutes. If anybody wants to call in to the X Factor hotline, I will go ahead and put that on the screen. Put that number so that way people can call in, ask your questions live. But if, you know, let everybody know where they can reach you at, where they find you, all your social media handles, how can they get a hold of you?
So we're at www.emodsafety.com. You could also email info@emodsafety.com, and we'll reply back to you there. We do have Instagram. Caitlin does this. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We have all those social media platforms. So we're on those. So come check us out there. We post weekly, daily, depending on the week.
Also, connect with both Bobby and I on LinkedIn. We're happy to connect and chat with you.
Nice. So how do you decompress after a long day at the job site? What do you do in your off time when you're not working on the app, when you're not working on the construction site?
So we're working on the app. No, actually, I just came back from a camping trip, and Bobby was just on a camping trip as well.
Yeah.
I think we're.
I seen that picture, and again, I follow you, and you know, we just recently connected on Instagram, and I seen that picture, and I was like, wow, that'd be cool, you know, having the van with the tent on the top and actually just going camping, you know. Hey, get away to where you can clear your head, free your mind. You're just with the elements, just there, just soaking it all in. That's great.
We all spend so much time on screens right now, especially more now than ever. Having the ability to just go somewhere with no cell phone service and just turn off for a couple days is always nice.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then you come back and then you got like 1,000 emails and, you know, a whole bunch of text messages that come through. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice. At Shane, rewards are always good. Drink wine.
Lots of wine for sure.
Lots
of wine. That sounds like my life.
Lots of wine, a nice cigar. So what about you, Bob? What do you like to do to decompress? Again, you know, you just got off a camping trip, but what else do you guys do?
Yeah, I mean, really the last few months or 6 months have been crazy, I'm sure, for everyone, especially since EMOD has been kicking off. So me and Caitlin have been working a ton, but just getting away, turn off the phone, turn off the computer, get away for a little bit, refresh, definitely have a beer. I'm not really a wine guy, so I'll go with beer instead. Luckily, sports are back. Well, now they're ended. Football's still here, so watch some sports, just get away.
Okay, now that you brought that up, what kind of beer do you drink?
Oh, it depends. I'm down in San Diego right now, so we got some good IPAs down here. But going up north, San Francisco, anything light, Pilsner. I love Pilsners.
Okay.
I know Kaylin's husband's a big beer snob, so he's a big IPA guy.
Got you. Boston Lager.
I love that. That's good.
Yes, very good.
Yeah.
I love it. Sam Adams Boston Lager is my stuff.
Yeah.
You know, again, I love a good IPA. You know, again, Pilsners are really good. We can go, that could be a whole nother episode there, talking about beer. And then Alan said cigar. Yes. Yeah. So, what about you, Kaylin? What do you like to drink? What, you know, adult beverages are in the arsenal?
Definitely got a soft spot for wine for sure. I'm actually from Boston, so the beer scene here I know very well, and I'm here now. But I would say wine. I mean, I got married up in Healdsburg, up in Sonoma County, and a soft spot for it. Yeah. Nice.
So what kind of wine? Red wine? White wine?
It's funny. I've always been a red wine drinker, but in the past couple of years, I feel like, you know, it just hasn't got as cold as it used to in California. So I've been sticking with the whites and the rosés.
There you go. The rosés. Love it.
Yeah.
Nice. Local, he said local brewery. I know what you like. Yes, sir, you do, Uncle Al. Robert. Again, I love beer. Tequila, not so much. I'm more of a whiskey drinker. And you know, for my recent birthday that I had back in May, my wife ended up getting me a nice big stout bottle of Blue Label, Johnny Walker Blue Label.
Very nice.
Oh yeah, it's very, very smooth. So I've been on my whiskey kick lately.
What's your favorite whiskey?
Johnny Walker, believe it or not. Yeah. Johnny Walker, and I go double black. I can't go anything less than double black, and then everything above. Can drink Bloody Marys. Love Tito's vodka here in Texas. Yeah. You know, love those in the morning time with the wife having a mimosa. Shane Oliver said Wells banana bread beer. Never had it, but sounds very interesting.
I'll have to try it out.
Yeah, definitely. Wells banana bread beer. Let me make that mental note. So, well, before we get out of here, I'm fixing to let the people on the air on the radio station. Thank you for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. You know, until next time, we will see you later. And now we hit an hour mark. Hour and 1 minute. Again, thank you for tuning in. Those that have been here with us, listening to all this great stuff that Caitlin and Bob have. I greatly appreciate you taking the time out to come on the show and give people, you know, a little bit of you and what you guys are about. So with that being said, any last words that you want to give to our audience? Words of encouragement, words of motivation. Go ahead.
I would say go out and thank your field guys tomorrow. You know, recognize them for what they're doing. Remember them that they're probably the face of your company. You know, when you're sitting in a meeting, you're dealing with something at your computer, they're out there taking care of what really needs to happen. And, you know, thank them and remind them that they're as important as any other person on that job site.
Nice. What about you, Bob?
Man, that was hard to top. Well said there. But I'd say, yeah, just don't forget about the men and women that build the projects for us. You know, we're all, I don't know who's on it, but most of us probably the office staff. But, you know, don't forget the ones that are actually building the job for you and putting their lives at danger. And I just wanted to say thank you to you, Pedro. This was awesome. We appreciate it. It's a lot of fun, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So, everybody that's out there listening, we're going to say bye to Caitlin and Mr. Bob. So with that being said, ask yourself one question. Y'all know where to find me at. All the social media handles, the X Factor Safety. Check us out on the website. But ask yourself that one question. What is your X Factor? Till next time, we will see you